Hello, my name's Lesley Atherton, and this piece of writing is called Scarlett. What happens then? What do you mean? What happens once Mum and Dad get the divorce and everything? Where do I go? What do I do? Trevor shifted in his seat. Well, you have some choices to make. I know, said Scarlett. You mean I have to decide whether to live with Mum or with Dad, but I don't know how I'm supposed to decide. Trevor understood. Scarlett was the latest in a long line of dependents who'd come to him, either as part of custody battles, for counselling on relationship breakdowns, or as a result of abuse, both abused and abusers. I think I'll make arrangements to see you a few more times in the next couple of weeks. It's perhaps going to be a difficult time and you may need the support. Trevor may have been accustomed to caring for children at traumatic times, but Scarlett wasn't the usual child and these weren't the usual circumstances. You see, Scarlett was 28 years old, and though she was legally able to make her own decisions in theory, in practice this wasn't going to happen. Scarlett was affected by an intense, rare chromosome disorder, and her mental independence was doubtful. With a mental age of around 9 years old, Scarlett needed treating with respect and dignity, but couldn't and shouldn't be shielded from the realities of life. None of this was going to be easy for Trevor, or for Scarlett. Throughout her youth, Scarlett had struggled with everything but the most basic numeracy and literacy, and it was clear that, though she knew how to put the kettle on, she didn't understand safety around boiling water or how to take care of herself. She could pay for her crisps at the corner shop, but couldn't open the packet and couldn't count the money that remained in her purse. It was clear that Scarlett was entirely dependent on her parents, but what Trevor was there to do, as part of his analysis task, was to work out whether her dependency had been forced on her by overbearing, overcaring parents, and whether she was capable of so much more. As happens in a great many conditions, symptoms were measurable on a scale, but in Scarlett's case this hadn't been reassessed in many years. Those badly affected on the scale could never be independent, whereas those less badly affected could live lives of depth and meaning and, quite vitally, achieve near independence with the most minimal of support. Could Scarlett be one of the independents? Could she do as she wished after the divorce and move to a residential community at Middleton, where other similar adults were encouraged to work, to gain life skills and to live semi-independently within the auspices of the community? Her best friend, Claire, met at an event for those affected by her condition, was moving there in a month. Her parents were old, and their 30-year-old child was ready for the challenge. Scarlett desperately wanted to follow Claire. But Scarlett's mum wanted her to stay at home, and Scarlett's dad was encouraging his daughter to make a fresh start with him 100 miles away. Scarlett clearly had a big decision to make, and the largest part of that decision rested on Trevor's analysis of her abilities and needs, and whether she was capable of making up her own mind and getting to grips with day-to-day decisions. "So what do you think you like about Middleton?" he asked. "Cooking," she replied, with a crunching of her nose. "And friends. I get lonely at home." "Wouldn't you make new friends if you moved to somewhere new with your dad? He's already found you a daycare place, has organised a bus there, and has arranged for lots of activities for you. It'll be such a busy time for you all. And your mum could visit." "No," said Scarlett. "How about if you carry on staying with your mum? You could still see the same people and have the same fun you're having now." "But Dad won't be there." "He'll be there sometimes. He'll come and see you every weekend." "Will he? I don't think I would like it. I would miss him too much." "Wouldn't you miss both of them if you went to Middleton?" "No." Trevor could see that Scarlett had been thinking about this one. "They can come and stay with me." "Maybe at weekends?" suggested Trevor. "No, all the time. They will both come and live with me," insisted Scarlett, "so I won't have to choose." But Middleton really did mean weekend-only visits from her parents and living in her own rooms surrounded by lots of other adults, each with their own rooms. Trevor tried to explain, but Scarlett was adamant. Before he'd been able to get through to her, Trevor realised their time was up and that Scarlett's parents would be waiting. They arranged an appointment for the same time the following week. Scarlett's mum looked inquisitively at Trevor as he led Scarlett out. "She's done really well," was all Trevor was able to say. What else was there?